The other day I was getting chased by this creeper and thought, wouldn't it be cool if I just had a secret underground base I could escape to whenever, where I'd be perfectly safe from mobs forever? Yeah, I think I need that. And my therapist agrees.
Yeah, you definitely need that, bro.
So today, I'm gonna be building the ultimate underground base, complete with everything I need to survive literally forever, like food, storage, smelting, villagers, entertainment, and so much more. And then I'm gonna hide it with the coolest, most impossible to find entrance I could find after doing hours of research, all in Minecraft Hardcore. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna put this base to the ultimate test by seeing if my friend can find it, and then have him rate the base out of 10. And I emotionally need to get a 10 out of 10. So I made a 5-step plan to build the ultimate secret base, and the first step is to decide where to build it. And I'm thinking we should build it in this forest here. All right, now we just gotta pick a tree. Oh my god, my axe is like almost destroyed. How about this tree right here? Seems as good as any other one. So into the depths we go. I don't actually know how far down to go. All right, and now that step 1 is complete, it's time for step 2, excavation. Basically just dig a giant hole. So I got to digging and I pretty quickly ran into this cave. Oh, of course there's a cave. Awesome. We'll just deal with that later, I guess. Also, I wasn't exactly sure how big to make this or how deep to go, so I was kind of just winging this the whole time. But yeah, I'll skip through most of this because it was pretty much just me digging. Very engaging content, I know. And I'd only gotten like this much dug out before my pickaxes were all completely obliterated. But I repaired my pickaxe and got back to digging. Then once I had the area mined out to the size I wanted, I filled in all the holes created by the caves we ran into. But then I realized that it looked terrible, and then I immediately destroyed most of that to replace it with stone, so that the walls don't look so ugly and it's just a clean stone box. All right, and after hours of my life, I'm now finally done digging this hole, so we can get started on step 3, resource collection. Basically, I just bone milled and chopped down a bunch of spruce trees and then oak trees, melted a bunch of cobblestone into stone to make stone bricks with, and now it's time for step 4 already, which is building the actual base. This is obviously the biggest step, but this base is too hidden. I already can't find it. But also, I kind of just alternated between steps 3 and 4 throughout the whole project. All right, now it's time to start on the outline. So I'll just place some spruce pillars and strip them, obviously, and then I'll add some spruce beams like this, and then I'll repeat that across the whole thing, and then connect these pillar things, and then repeat that across the whole thing. Then I'll fill in these spaces with oak slabs, so we have a floor for the second floor and a roof for the first floor. All right, and now I'll extend these pillars up to the ceiling. Okay, never mind, I ran out of spruce. So I took a little resource collection break. I also added this ladder up to the second floor, so we actually have a way to get up there. And then added in all these fences, so we don't fall, I guess. And then I started adding spruce wood along the floors connecting these pillars because I thought it looked good. And then I added an oak wood floor into the first floor area thing, except for the middle. And then I actually extended the spruce pillars up to the ceiling. Also, mobs started spawning, so I placed down a bunch of torches. All right, and now it's time to get to work on the first actual section of this base, which is gonna be the storage system. So I started by farming up some oak wood, and then began mining into the wall even more to create an area for the chests to go. And I ran into this cave again, which was a little annoying, but I made the walls oak wood, and then farmed a bunch more wood, and then crafted a ton of chests so I could place them in. But then I ran out of wood, so I actually headed back to the base and used a bunch of cherry logs I had collected, building the giant cherry tree last episode, to craft up a bunch more chests. And then I finished adding in all the chests. But I was still running low on wood, so I chopped another tree cube, or rectangular prism or whatever, and then added these oak stairs above the chests for some depth or detail or whatever. All right, and it's getting pretty annoying to get in and out of here. I've just been placing a dirt pillar and then breaking it again. So it's about time we add a clean way to get in and out of here. So I decided to start a staircase up to the surface on this side, and then create a mine entrance on the opposite side. I dug the exit of the secret base all the way up to the surface, and then added in a bunch of stone brick stairs to make it easier to get up and down. And we'll obviously add a way more hidden, way cooler exit to this base later on, but this will just make it easier to get in and out of this place while we're working on it. But I was still running low on resources, so I returned to my life as a lumberjack and chopped down a bunch more spruce trees. I then returned to our top secret base and added in these little pillars or this gateway kind of thing around the entrance to the mine, just to make it look a bit better. All right, and the next thing I want to build is the super smelter. And I need a bunch of redstone materials and stuff for this, so let's head back to the base and just gather up all the resources. Bro, I really need to make an iron farm or something. I'm so low on iron. All right, now I can mine out an area to put this opposite to our storage system. All right, and basically this just works by these minecart with chests, depositing whatever you put into them into all these furnaces, and then the hoppers take what's out of the furnaces and put them in these chests. But I'm kind of broke, so I'm only using like 2 hoppers for each of these. But we're gonna have to replace all this dirt with hoppers at some point if we want this to actually run like it's supposed to. But for now, this is better than nothing, I guess. Or I think. My pickaxe was on the brink of implosion, so I decided to use my years of experience in the industry to heal it back up. Alright, and the next thing I want to put in here is the enchanting setup. But all my enchanting stuff is up at our mob farm, so I'm just gonna fly up here and get all of it. And then we can go ahead and place it all back down in this corner, I guess. But I want it to look a little more good than before. Alright, and we can add the anvil in here and the smithing table, I guess. And then I went around adding a bunch of stairs to these pillars to make them look a bit more detailed. And I think it looks a lot better, actually. I then realized we needed a better way to get up to the second floor, so I decided to add in the staircase in the corner over here. I also dug out a bit of an area over here where I'm gonna put a sugarcane farm later on, and then added some more decorations to the enchantment area, like this chiseled bookshelf, this pillar in the corner, and these slabs, which I don't really know what they're supposed to be, but they look cool, I think. All right, and conceptually adjacent to this, I want to add in a brewing area. So I mined out a bit of an area and added in these pillars and barrels, and I guess I'll just add the brewing stuff in later. All right, and as stupid as it is, even though I'm in full netherite armor, I'm still somehow completely broke. I have like no iron. So I headed into this cave to kindly greet and promptly evict all of our next door neighbors and steal all their natural resources. And a few months of cave diving later, and I had gotten a decent amount of iron. So I added some more hoppers into our super smelter, and then began adding a bunch of pillars into the walls of the second floor. And I added these beams connecting the pillars to the second floor. Well, actually, I guess I just added one and then flew back to the base to get all the resources to build the sugarcane farm with, and then began excavating an area for the sugarcane farm. Once I had that dug out, I began building this sugarcane farm completely of my own design. I definitely did not look at a tutorial. I'm just this smart. Yeah. Oh, also, I guess I didn't have any sugarcane, so I flew out and grabbed some from this river nearby or whatever. Once I was done with the farm, I closed the whole thing off with glass and stone bricks. I wanted to add another horizontal spruce beam here, but I was out of spruce wood, so I went back to chopping down 4x4 spruce trees. Yeah, that's right, not 2x2, 4x4 spruce trees. It's a new thing they added in the 1.59 update. Anyways, once I had amassed a sufficient amount of spruce wealth, I headed back underground and began adding in all these spruce beams connecting these pillars. I also added in a bunch of stairs to look like supports for these beams, and I actually think it looks a lot better. All right, next I want to add an aquarium on the opposite side of this sugarcane farm. But when I began digging out an area, I ran into the exit stairway, and I also wanted to add in a nether section with a nether portal and stuff, so I decided to just close up this stairway and make the mine entrance and stairway be on the same side. So I got to work on that, and once I was done, I flew back to grab a bunch of nether blocks, and then got to work on the nether section. I started by adding in the portal frame, and then began replacing the floor and walls with netherrack, but it looked a little too samey, so I added in some soul soil on one side and some magma blocks on the other side. I also finally lit the portal, and I was thinking about adding in some fire, but I didn't really want it to burn down the entire base, so I decided against it, and built a little safe shelter on the nether side. Alright, and the next thing I think I'm gonna add in is some animal pens. I guess we'll do chickens, cows, and pigs, and maybe sheep too if we have room. So I'll just add in the fences, and then some fence gates, and now I have to get all the animals down here somehow. Alright, well in the meantime, I might as well grab all the stuff we need for the aquarium. Oh yeah, and we're also gonna need to get villagers down here at some point. But my villager breeder isn't working anymore for some reason. Wait, what the heck? You can't lead villagers? Why? Fix this, Mojang. Alright, well let's start by trying to get some animals in here. And I guess we might as well start with a sheep. Can I fly this with the elytra? Okay, no, I guess not. Alright, let's try a pig. I'll get him in this boat, and then I'll lead the boat with the elytra. And that also doesn't work. Awesome. All right, maybe I should just bring the happy gas over, and then I can use that to grab nearby mobs or something. Yeah, I don't think I used the happy gas a single time. It mostly just acted as a beacon for me to find where the base is until I hit it. All right, and then I realized it would be way easier to just grab some nearby animals. So I went around and found these pigs and lured them over to the hidden base entrance. Well, I might as well widen this hole to be 2x2 because it's gonna need to be 2x2 later anyways for the epic secret hidden base redstone contraption thing I'm gonna build later. And then I got them in this boat and then got them into their pen. I then brought 2 cows over to the hidden base and got them in their pen. And I guess at some point I just used some eggs to get chickens in here. My bad, I forgot to mention that. All right, and the next room I want to add is the bedroom. So I began clearing out an area, but it ran into the cave. So I really just built out an area, I guess. And for now, I just placed down a single bed. I'll make it actually look good later, I promise. Then I headed back up to the second floor and began mining out a giant area for the aquarium. And then I replaced the stone floor with sand, added in a glass wall, and then filled the whole thing up with water. I also added in some vegetation, and then stole some sea life from our local body of water, and then put them into their new home. Home, yeah. Then I replaced the floors of the animal pens with dirt and coarse dirt, so it looks a little more interesting than just dirt, and also added in a few other details, like these spruce beams and pillars and stairs. And I was tired of taking fall damage every time I fell down here, so I decided to get to work on adding in a pond to the center of this room base thing, as well as the outline for the 4 crop farms I want to have in the center area. And for the outline, I just used these singular spruce logs with these slabs connecting them, and we're gonna have all 4 4 different crop types in these 4 different sections. Once I got the outline looking how I wanted it to, I replaced the floor of each of the sections with dirt and added water into the center. Then I tilled all the dirt and planted in some seeds. I didn't have enough though. Then I added in these spruce gateway things to the mine entrance and base exit, and then I replaced a layer of stone around the crop farms with stone bricks because I thought it looked better. I then replaced the floor of this center area with sandstone so it looks a little more like the bed of a pond, and then added in water. So now this will break our fall when entering the base. Alright, then I headed back to the base to grab a bunch more building resources, and then I added this library section next to the enchanting area, which it looks cool, I guess. Alright, and now I'm gonna actually make the bedroom look good. So I replaced the single yellow bed with a double red bed and also raised it up a bit, and I'll add in these moss carpets. I don't know, green and red contrast, right? So I guess it looks kind of Christmassy. I don't know, man. It looks good. Right? Please someone say right. I added these banners above the bed as well as these barrels, so I don't really know why actually, but it looks cool. I experimented with some other details and designs and stuff until I landed on something I was happy with, and yeah, this is the bedroom. What do you guys think? Comment down below, leave a like, subscribe, and also donate your entire bank account balance to my Patreon. Thanks. Alright, and then I went into the brewing area and began adding in some more details, as well as actually adding in I was gonna say adding in a nether wart farm, but I guess I forgot soul sand. Wow, I am an intelligent being. Then I went up to the second floor to add in a hot tub to this corner, because I found this cool design for a hot tub where you just put like a campfire underneath some water and it looks like the water is like steaming. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty freaking cool. And I guess I was running out of wood again because I chopped down another 4x4 spruce tree. I was kind of running out of ideas of what to put in the remaining sections, so I added in this little, I don't really know what this is, area? Plant shelf? I don't know. I also added some depth to the sugarcane farm walls by just like moving them in a block. And I actually moved all the walls on the second floor in a block, as well as added more spruce beams to add in some more detail and make everything look nicer. I also added in some more detail to the stairway, emphasis on some more detail. And since this is a secret base, I wanted to add in a reference to the OG secret painting base. So I added this little section to look like it's just a painting on a wall, I guess. But really, it's a secret base within a secret base. Who could have guessed? Then I went around adding in more stairs and spruce logs. Okay, I know that's like 50% of this base at this point, but it looks good, all right? Sue me. Wait. No, actually don't sue. Alright, then I added in these bushes to the center of the base with this composter and leaf trick, and I think they look pretty cool. I also continued harvesting and replanting our crops so that we could fill up the whole thing and have it look all cool and completed. Then I went up to the second floor and began adding in some more random sections, like this other smeltery section, this entertainment section, I guess. Listen to some music, you know, jam out. Then on the first floor, I added in this armor display area, and I added in these chains above the armor stand, so it looks like the armor set is like hanging. Thought that was kind of cool. All right, and now I want to add a cool entertainment section. Basically, I want to add in a basketball court. Yeah. So I mined out an area and added in this basketball hoop kind of thing. Basically, you just throw an item in. Yeah. Pretty easy, but it's cool, I think. But it still looked pretty garbage in here. So I added in a green floor and added in some barrels and some other details like these banners. And I just threw a piece of red wool in this barrel here to act as the basketball or whatever. All right, and now it's finally time to get some villagers in here. So I flew the Happy Ghast over to our local village and then recruited some local talent and flew them over to the secret base. Once I got them over, I kind of had a bit of trouble getting them into the actual base. But once I finally got them in the base, I began the construction of their new permanent residence and then trapped them inside forever. And I didn't really know what job to give them, so I just let them keep the fisherman job they got from locking onto these barrels. I added in some decorations and boom, there's the villager section done. I bone mealed and replanted some more of our crops to fill up these crop fields more. Oh, also at some point I changed the look of these bushes in the center to be one high and go almost all the way around except for these 4 pathways, because I think it looks better. And I was still running out of ideas for what to do on the second floor, so I made a vine farm. I mean, it's kind of useful, even though we live in a jungle, so actually it's kind of pointless. Then I added in this little farm area, but I didn't have any seeds, so it's just a dirt farm, I guess. I then made the animal pens look a bit better by expanding their living pens by like 1 cubic meter. But it wasn't for their well-being, it was to add some more depth to the walls. Then I added some more crop bed things to the second floor, because again, I don't really know what to do with the remaining empty sections. But this time I actually added in some crops, because I added in some wheat to one of them and some bamboo to the other one. And I used leaf litter around the exit of the base to make it look kind of like like muddy footprints coming in and out of the base, which I think looks pretty cool. Then I caught this intruder with a grass block, so I don't know, man. I took the grass block and put it in the cow pen. All right, that's what I did. Okay. Then I added in this bench. Pretty cool. Probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my whole life, honestly. Although that's not that big of a feat. Anyways, I flew to the local body of water and started collecting up a bunch of clay to smelt into bricks so I could make some pots for decoration. And I also added some paintings to these walls in the corner over here because I still need to fill up all the remaining sections. So I guess I decided to make this like the art corner or something. I also replaced a lot of the walls with stone to keep everything looking consistent and clean. Although I guess stone's not really very clean. I don't know why it looks clean though. I then added in a little bit more decoration to this art area, like this couch and coffee table. Although I guess it's more of a bench since it's made of wood. I also added in another bench area with more paintings. And I began adding in these pots with azalea bushes in them around everywhere for some more decoration. I also finally added some decorations to the stairway area with these little bushes and these paintings and this decorated pot. Oh, and I guess at some point I finished the full gold and diamond armor sets in the armory section. My bad, forgot to mention that crucial plot detail. Then I added in this mini storage section with chests, a crafting table, more glow berries, because my brain doesn't have any more creativity left in it, and also these shelves with decorated pots on them to look like more storage, and this row of barrels for even more storage. I also added in this campfire and extinguished it to make it look like firewood that's in storage or something. All right, and now we have pretty much every single section filled up except for this corner of the second floor. And since I've kind of been repeating the first floor levels on the second floor, I want to make this a continuation of the animal pens. So we're gonna get some sheep in here since we never got that earlier, add in a horse stable, and I'm even gonna make a little dog house room area for all of our dogs with perfectly normal names we got in the last episode. So I went out and grabbed some sheep and brought them back to the base. Then I dug out a little area for them and trapped them in there forever. Then I headed back to our other base, grabbed all of our pets, and then brought them over to the secret base. I then dug out an area for Charleston and trapped him in there forever. And then finally dug out an area for our dog room thing. Then I got to work on making the dog room actually look cool. And I used this decorated pot plus carpet, or I guess moss layer trick, to make some dog bowls. Pretty cool, I know. And I replaced all the walls and floors with oak wood, but it was feeling a bit cramped, so I expanded the room a bit. And this time I placed 3 dog bowls, because we have 3 dogs. I don't know how I didn't realize that the first time. Also, I added in more leaf litter to look like muddy paw prints, and this dog bed, or at least it's supposed to be a dog bed, and also added these slabs around the dog bed so it looks a little more like a dog bed. And I used sandstone this time as well, so it looks a little less wooden and more like an actual cushiony bed. And I didn't really know what to do to decorate, so I just added in more paintings and barrels. Classic. Then I changed the flooring of the sheep pen and the horse stable to dirt. Then I went down to the animal stables on the first floor and added in these wildflowers because I thought they looked cool. And also added in some hay bales in the cow pen area. Oh, and I guess I hadn't actually completed the full diamond armor set, so I completed the full diamond armor set. Alright, and it's time for the final section of the base, and it's gonna be the most epic thing you've ever seen because it's the final section, so it's gotta be like the coolest one, right? Yeah, no, I just built a melon farm. I ran out of ideas a while ago. Also, I wasn't even sure that these would actually grow, so I placed a few different types of blocks to see if they actually grow. I don't have much faith though, because there's also no sunlight down here, and they might need sunlight. I don't really know the AI of melons in this game. But anyways, we're now finally done with all of the actual content of all the sections. But before we add in the secret entrance and exit, I still have a bunch of cleanup work and details to add around the base. So I made the horse pen look a bit better by cleaning up the walls and adding in some hay bales for Charleston. And I also got all of our dogs in their actual dog room area. I chopped down another 4x4 spruce tree, and I was feeling like the ceiling of the base was looking a bit empty. So I grabbed some scaffolding and began placing it in because I decided to add a bunch of spruce beams to the ceiling to add some detail, but also a little more logic. Like there probably would need to be a ton of support to actually hold up 1 billion tons of dirt and stone above this room. So yeah, I placed in a bunch of beams, and then it felt like a bit too much, so I removed some of the beams, and I think that looks pretty good. I mean, it's just the ceiling. It's not really that big of a deal. I also added in more stone bricks as like the bottom foundation part of the wall around the first floor, and also on the second floor some. All right, and now it's finally time to get to work on the secret entrance. And this secret entrance is actually insane. You literally like disappear instantly and kind of phase through the floor. The only problem is it's kind of extremely complicated to build. This is the person who built it, and I'll link their channel down below. And they were kind enough to offer a world download on the video where they built it, so I was able to just look at the world download to find out how to build this. And I had most of the materials, but the main thing I did not have is any slime at all to make sticky pistons with. And I knew we found a mangrove swamp in the last episode, so I began flying over in that direction, and once I made it there, I began clearing out and placing down and lighting up an area for slimes to spawn. And once I had cleared out a decent area and it was nighttime, I flew back and forth waiting for slimes to spawn, and a couple spawned, and because I have looting 3, I got like 38 slime balls from that, and I was kind of hoping for more, but that's probably enough. So I flew back to the base, prepared a shulker box full of all the resources we needed, and I guess I didn't have any quartz because I headed into the nether to find quartz. I'm literally in Prot 4 netherite. This is so sad. Anyways, now we can finally start work on the super epic secret entrance. So I mined out a giant area and began constructing the super complicated redstone build that I totally understand. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I used a mod called Lightmatica in the world download for this base entrance to get layer by layer screenshots of this build, since there's no tutorial for it, and I didn't want to use Lightmatica in our world because I want to try to keep this world as unmodded as possible. But realistically, if I ever build something like this again in the future, I'll probably need to use Lightmatica. But anyways, a ton of complicated redstone later, and other than the fact that I accidentally built the entire thing a block too low, it was finally done, and all that was left to do was test it. Well, first I had to figure out how to actually activate it, but finally I tested it, and it didn't work, bro. So I spent like over an hour trying to troubleshoot this machine that I do not understand at all, and I was honestly about to give up, but I finally figured out what the problem was. All right, well, I think I finally got this working. You basically place a redstone torch there, and then it breaks it. So I just have this here to mark it for now. Yeah, and I built the whole thing a little too low, so I'm gonna have to kind of clear this out and level this out a little bit, because I'm not building that all again. That was extremely annoying. Yeah, I built the whole thing, and the problem was, I'm not even really gonna try to explain. Basically, this piston needed to be like quasi-powered and stay extended. You had to place the blocks in like a specific order in order to get it to do that. But long story short, I figured it out, and yeah, it works now, so pretty cool. I'm gonna try it for the first time. Hopefully I don't get stuck and die. Oh, it works. Let's go. That's so cool. Okay, so yeah, we have to build an exit as well, but dude, that's so cool. And then it breaks the torch as well. Yeah, that time I didn't even take any damage. How does this tree not have a bottom? What? Why is this terrain so glitched? Like, I never did this. What is wrong with this area? This is so weird. Or did Enderman do this? Like, what? I think you can place these in a way. I mean, I could do that so that they're all surrounding the same block, and then just like place more in this area so that it looks normal. The blocks are right here, so you stand right here. That's so cool. And then you're in your super epic secret underground base. Now I just have to actually make this hidden. Just gotta fill this in. I'll bring this out a little more so it looks a little more natural and normal. I mean, I'd call that hidden. I wouldn't think that it's right here. By removing our happy gas and this pillar, that is awesome. All right, now it's time to build the secret exit. So I gathered up all the resources I needed to build the hidden exit, and then I broke out the top end of the staircase to turn it into like a little room, since it's gonna need to shoot us like directly up. But yeah, basically for this, I want to build like a tree hidden exit. So I searched around a while and found one that I thought would work, so I built it, but it didn't work because it was for a different Minecraft version. But that ended up being a blessing in disguise, because I searched for another one, and the one I found that actually works for this version is way cooler, although it is a bit more complicated. But at least this time I have a tutorial to follow, which again I'll link in the description below. But after a while of constructing another machine that I do not understand at all and have no business building, I had finally completed it, and it also didn't work. But this time it was actually just a simple fix. I had just misplaced a repeater, so I fixed that issue, and it works. And honestly, this one is super cool. There are a couple issues. One, I have to have a button up here, and it has to be a wooden button specifically, because otherwise it won't work. And I didn't have enough slime to build the exit launcher thing to get out of here, so I just have to use my elytra to fly out of here. And I tried to think of another way I could do it, but yeah, no, I couldn't think of anything, so I'm just gonna have to fly out of here with my elytra. And yeah, we need a button outside of here to close this behind us, and it has to be a button. So I decided to use a spruce button on this tree and began connecting it up to the redstone contraption and tried to cover it up a little bit so it's a little more hidden. And yeah, I think it's pretty well hidden. I mean, if someone was looking, they'd probably find it, but it's fine. All right, and it's finally time to invite my friend on and see if he can find the base and get him to rate the base out of 10.
Is it that up there? Is your secret base the mob farm?
No, that's the mob farm. So your time starts now.
I have a timer? I didn't know that beforehand. I need tools.
Yeah, you don't need any tools. You just need to walk around and try to find it.
Okay. Is it in a tree? Because if you did that, then that's pretty lame.
Nope, it's not in a tree.
How big of an area am I looking in?
Just this area. I will give you a hint at some point.
I don't have to break blocks to get in. That's what I'm assuming.
No, you do not.
There's a torch.
Okay, no, that's
broke
not,
the torch.
That's not part of it. I guess I'll tell you if you're getting hot or cold. You're getting colder.
I'm cold?
Warmer? Okay, you're...
Oh. We got a fallen tree. This isn't real. This is modded. This is modded Minecraft.
This is not
There's
modded.
A fallen tree. Not your base.
No, you're getting colder.
What? I was warm a second ago.
Warmer.
All right. Maybe it is in this field.
Warmer. Oh my god, you get it. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, it's gotta be around here. All these leaves are one pattern. There's a reason for it.
You can also request an item from me.
Can I request X-ray?
That's not an item, bro.
There's a bunch of single leaves, and everything else doesn't have single leaves, so it's gotta be here. So I don't need to break anything.
No, but you can request an item again.
Can I request an ender pearl?
No.
What?
I'll tell you whether or not you need it or not.
Maybe there's a hopper in the corner somewhere. Maybe there's a hopper minecart. Hold on. Spread the meat. Spread the meat around. I think your base is glitched.
For my bad, I forgot to turn it on.
Maybe there's a button somewhere around these trees, huh? Is there a button? Is it boring? Is this base boring? Does it have a button?
Definitely not. It's not a button. Okay, do you want me to just give you the item that you need?
Wait, I need an item to get in?
Okay, one of them you don't need an item, but one of them you do need an item, yes.
There's 2 bases?
Wait, no. Okay, here you go. You need a redstone torch. But you gotta find out where to place it. You just gonna place it on every single block?
No, that's not my plan right now.
There's some kind of indication, you can use your brain.
Okay, there's an indication. All right. Let me look from F5. Let me look from above. Can you place on the leaves? Oh, you can't. Wait, you can get rid of the leaves.
No, that you're not supposed to do that.
Are the leaves part of it at all?
Yeah, they are.
They are? Okay.
Oh, okay, but how do you get in?
Wait, what?
Oh,
fantastic news. Oh, this is sick.
There's an entrance and an exit here. Let me show you the exit.
Oh.
Here's the exit. Press that button. This one is a tree. I don't think you can get out without knowledge. All right, and there is actually a button to close this because you have to use a wooden button.
Oh, there was a button. I knew it. Yeah, it's so fast.
And it breaks the torch.
This is like the most efficient secret base ever. It's not centered.
Yeah, I know. That was unintentional.
Ben, it's not centered.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. All right, so here we go. We got the storage system with probably only like 5 or 6 chests that I'm actually using and no organization.
Oh.
But ignore that.
That's exactly how I play the game.
We got the bed, double bed.
Oh, for me and you.
Here's the nether area.
Oh, you got the happy guest who's suffering eternally.
Here are the mobs. I didn't finish the wall.
Can I ask why it's so dark over here?
Oh, I got full bright on. I've had full bright on this whole time, so I forgot about that.
You have a basketball court?
Yeah. I'm gonna dunk on you. Oh shoot. That was.
Oh my. Hold on. From downtown, 360.
Oh.
Oh,
bro, you suck. And then the armory. Okay, yeah, you're gonna steal my armor. That's fine. Here's my sheep. Do not ask why I only have one.
You brought a sheep down here.
Actually, I brought 2, but the other one unfortunately passed away. I don't know how that happened, actually. And then my dog room.
Dude, this is actually sick. This isn't even gonna work. This farm doesn't do anything. What is this farm?
I ran out of ideas, okay, chill.
This is very nice. I like this. I can definitely tell you ran out of ideas.
But over here, this is pretty cool. This is a hot tub.
This is pretty cool. I like the campfire underneath. Why does your aquarium only have salmon? Then there's just stone plus a block missing. There's no coral. Did you even try?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you tried.
All right, what do you rate this base out of 10?
All right. You know what? I'll give you an honest rating. From the jump, right off the bat, you'd give it a good 9, and then you realize it's uneven, so 5.
Bro, you gonna give the whole base a 5 because it's not even?
That's how much it means to me, Ben.
Okay, what about the actual base then?
The base itself is a solid 8.5 out of 10. You got everything you need down here, except a little bit of texture, okay? It's kind of all spruce and a lot of dark corners.
Roof?
And for the secret part, we'll bump it up to a 10 because that was the best entrance I've ever seen.
Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 5 trillion subscribers by the end of this month, but I think we can do it if we have the right attitude, so make sure to subscribe. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to try to upload hardcore episodes a bit more frequently, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to all my patrons, and I'll see you in the next one.